All right, California now one step closer to becoming a sanctuary state. The state Senate voting to pass a measure that limits police cooperation with federal immigration authorities.
But some say the legislature puts politics over public safety. Don Rosenberg's son, Drew, he was killed by an illegal immigrant in San Francisco back in 2010, and he is live now for us in L.A. to react. It's great to have you here, and I know that this is an emotional one for you. First, just remind us what happened to your son, Drew, and how you're feeling this morning waking up to this news as you are living in the state of California.
Well, my son was coming home from law school one night, and a guy, Roberto Gallo, tried to make a last-second left-hand turn. They collided in the intersection. Instead of stopping, Gallo accelerated, drove over Drew's body. His helmet got caught under his tire. He backed up, driving over him a second time, and then trying to flee, went forward the third time. By that time, somebody had gotten out of their car, and they stood in front of Gallo's car. He stopped with his tire on my son's abdomen, and 5 guys had to lift the car off of him.
Wow. So when you hear a story like that, how does it make you feel, the fact that California is now making a conscious decision to make that state a sanctuary state?
Well, yeah, I mean, all you can be is outraged that they put their own, re-election. That's they call the value voters, or the value state. They put their own values of getting reelected over public safety of citizens and law-abiding people all over the state.
Well, Don, what values are those? Because you're making the point, listen, I lost my son to someone who was here illegally, and they're valuing that illegal immigrant's life or future above that of my law-abiding son. I mean, what values are they talking about?
It's their own personal value of getting reelected. That's it. They don't care what happens to anybody else. They try to disguise it that they're helping the illegal alien community, but they're not. They're just helping themselves get reelected. And then I'm hoping the Department of Justice comes in and knocks this down. Because it's outrageous that they're doing this. Just about a month ago, Sonoma County sheriffs let a guy out who had beaten up his girlfriend. ICE wanted to pick him up. They let him out. They called ICE, let him out 16 minutes after they called, and 2 weeks later he murdered her. So there's no value here.
There are just so many heartbreaking stories that we've heard of, specifically in the state of California. If you could sit down and look in the face of these lawmakers, what would you tell them today? Well,
I'll tell you, because I sent them a letter about 2 weeks ago, and I told them it's your responsibility to protect law-abiding citizens, law-abiding legal immigrants, and to some extent even protect those that are here illegally and aren't committing other crimes. And not to protect criminals. And why would you want to do that? Again, they say it will make the community safer. How can you possibly release criminals back into the community and say it's going to make it safer? And I can tell you, since the Trust Act passed 3 years ago, California's had double-digit crime increases every single year. Every time they say they're going to do something that's going to make the road safer by allowing illegal aliens to drive, well, 2 years later, traffic fatalities are up 19%. So it's a con just to get votes, and the public is suffering because of it.
Absolutely. Well, Don, thank you for joining us this morning, and we, as always, remember your son, and hopefully we live in a country, in a world where citizenship and the law actually matter. We appreciate you coming on this morning.
I certainly hope so. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Don. Really appreciate that.